What is up, hecklers? Welcome to the Peanut Gallery. This is the show where we review stand-up comedy shows performed by some of the comedic masterminds of this generation and the past. This week, we're taking a look at Louis C.K.'s Live at the Comedy Store. If you want to show your support for the show and see more reviews, go ahead and subscribe to Bear Fare today, and you'll be able to see a new review like this every single week. Louis C.K. is one of the modern greats by many people's standards, and there's good reason for that. With content like Louis, writing and creator credits on many different TV shows, including Lucky Louie, and some excellent work on Saturday Night Live, it's no surprise that his TV career is doing very well. But his stand-up comedy has earned a place in many people's hearts as an insightful self-reflection. And some very blunt philosophies on life, along with clever comedic sense and an understanding of his audience, have led him to phenomenal success. Without further ado, let's get into it. Every stand-up comedy show will be judged based on the following criteria. Performance, which is comprised of showmanship, flair, spectacle, comfort, and practice. Fluidity, which is the flow from one joke to the next, and subject flow across the show. Audience interaction. This is based on response to heckles, conversational leading, questions, and unique interaction depending on the performer. Connective tissue. This is based purely on overarching themes and callbacks. And finally, jokes, perhaps most importantly, which are judged on quality, quickness, timing, and unexpectedness. Each of these categories is marked out of 20, giving us a score out of 100 total. So let's talk about how Louis did.
Anyway, with that, I'm gonna bring up the man. Do you know the man? Mr. Who? Mr. Louis Who? What? Mr. Louis Prima? No. Mr. Louis Armstrong? No. Mr. Louis C.K. Here he is.
When we talk about performance, there's undoubtedly a gold standard. Not every comedian can live up to it, but Louis C.K. comes as close as anyone, and in this show there is no doubt he came as close as he ever has. His stage presence was very good. He was calm and comfortable throughout the entire performance. It was clear he was up there and just doing his thing.
One time I was having sex with a woman. It was our first time having sex. Also turned out to be our last time, but I didn't know that.
While he was very stationary for the majority of the performance, he used that to his advantage in developing excellent timing and surprising the audience with overt movements to go along with certain bits to give the audience a bit more to react to.
So I'm on the subway, and I'm standing there. I wasn't holding anything, I just like to stand like this.
Without a doubt, this performance is one of Louis C.K.'s best and is deserving of a complete 20 out of 20.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I in trouble?
But how about fluidity? The flow and pace of Louis C.K. was impressive as well, developing excellent connective tissue between his jokes and diversification of his topics while retaining that connective tissue. It's not necessarily very easy to do. It's very clear, however, that Louis C.K. knows how to lead into other jokes using the punchlines of the previous joke. That's important, and how he uses it to pace the show really shows he knows how to make his jokes work for him.
Come on, we're leaving soon. He's the pilot baby. I'm the other baby. No, it's all right. I'm not gonna... You babies have a good flight. But I'm gonna find another way to get there. Yeah, I don't like the way this was starting. Anyway, I was on a plane and there was these two babies and they're crying the whole time. Crying the whole flight, and that happens a lot. I don't think they knew each other, they're just crying. Keeping
that in mind, Louis knocks fluidity out of the park with another solid 20 out of 20. When we talk about audience interaction, Louis C.K. isn't exactly known for riffing off of the audience, or really building rapport in the generic sense. However, he has a way of building a kind of trust with the audience, like he's telling them a secret as he tells them the dirtier and more offbeat jokes.
He was a piece of shit cocksucker asshole. That's what he was to me. And I didn't even know any of those words. I just had that like as a raw feeling with no way to say it.
While this is not the traditional form of audience interaction, Louis brings in his own style and keeps the audience engaged, despite not interacting with them directly.
Whoa, there he goes. I don't know, he's that little scamp. Go get him.
While this is not the traditional form of audience interaction, Louis brings in his own style and keeps the audience engaged despite not interacting with them directly. Because of his unique style and his reactions to the jokes the audience laughs at, we can say he does more reaction to the audience than interaction, but he still earns himself a solid 15 out of 20 through his unique styling.
I'm tired of this. I don't want to go anymore. Good, don't. I don't want to bring you.
Connective tissue is something that we've all been told helps when writing an essay or story, but it applies in stand-up comedy as well. Louis C.K. has strong theming across his entire show. Sex and self-deprecation, along with questionable parenting, are the focus of many of his jokes.
Daddy, I'm tired of soccer. Soccer is out of our lives forever.
This is true for much of Louis C.K.'s comedy, and this show proves to be no different in that respect. It's a shame that by the end of the show, some of the themes seem to be a bit tired even for the audience, but even so, Louis pulls out a solid 18 out of 20 for consistency. He knows what he's doing, and these topics are not something he is a stranger to at all.
Because that's getting to be a lot.
Possibly one of the most important parts of any stand-up comedy show is the jokes themselves. Louis has been an incredible joke writer for the majority of his life, I assume since he was a baby. This show is no different. He develops jokes over the course of the show, but they are solid from the outset. Louis opens this show with his stereotypical Mexican accent, which is pure genius. Even if he uses the voice too much throughout the show, in my opinion, he deserves to be recognized for forcing the audience to be kept on their toes from the very onset of the show. Remember everybody, the #1 rule of comedy is that surprising is funny.
Everybody dies!
Before I praise Louis incredibly highly for his clever and witty commentary on life, love, and parenting, let me just point out that at the start of the show, he got 4 whole minutes of laughter, pure unadulterated laughter out of a single word. And that word was vagina. Just so you know what we're dealing with here.
Dry vagina.
That being said, over and over again, Louis really doesn't dwell on a single topic for very long, and his jokes are very cleverly put together. When you hear Louis go from the trials of parenting to the meaning of life in a span of 30 seconds, you'll know what I mean when I say this man is a writing genius. There is no stopgap between the two, he just goes. And his jokes bring home the laughs.
Daddy, I'm tired of soccer. Soccer is out of our lives forever. With those words from thine mouth. Soccer is gone. I don't care. Don't go to school. I don't want to get up at 7. Don't do any of this shit, honey. I don't care. I have money. Just eat the food in the house. Stay home and eat. You and your sister don't have kids. I can cover all of us and then we all die.
If I could show you more, I would. But hey, fair use is a bitch. And also, what good would I be doing if I didn't direct you to watch the rest of the show? Believe me when I say there are some really solid jokes in there. That's why Louis manages to pull off a 19 out of 20 on jokes, and he deserves it. So, for those of you keeping score at home, Louis' scores are as follows. 20 out of 20 on performance, 20 out of 20 on fluidity, 15 out of 20 on audience interaction, 18 out of 20 for connective tissue, and 19 out of 20 on jokes. That brings Louis C.K.'s Live at the Comedy Store to a grand total of 92 out of 100. That's an incredible way to start off this series, and Louis has certainly earned the top spot. There was some rigorous competition, but hey, he earned it. You can check out Louis C.K.'s Live at the Comedy Store on Netflix, and I would recommend you check out the rest of Louis' work on louisck.net. There's a bunch of different shows on there, and honestly some other fantastic content as well. His website's really well put together. I really recommend you take a look and enjoy. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Peanut Gallery. If you enjoyed the show, please don't hesitate to show your love down in the comment section below, or by liking this video, as that helps out a ton. If you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to become a verified heckler today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week.